Hello and good morning, everybody. I am Vihil Vigil, your International Women's Empowerment Business and Professional Development Coach. And today is day 2 of our fantastic program, the Empoweru Bootcamp for Success. I'm super excited to have you joining me today. And I think you might be able to hear the coffee maker in the background, so that should stop here shortly. But welcome back. Welcome back to the Empoweru Bootcamp for Success. I am super excited to be launching this here towards the end of the year, which is something that I like to do on a consistent basis so that we get you all ready and prepared for the following year. The Bootcamp for Success is a 5-session program. We started it yesterday. Once you are registered and once you sign up, you will receive the email confirmation, which will have all of the details on how to access each day's recordings as well as each day's workbook. So I have already preloaded onto the website the workbook for today, for day 2, and I'm going to share my screen and we're going to jump right in. So let's see here. Get to that screen. Okay, there we go. Hope everyone is having a great day. As you can see, we are back in the office. All right, so we are now sharing, and let me get this opened up. This out of the way, that out of the way. Okay, I think we should be good to go. Let me check on Facebook how we are looking in our group. Okay, it looks like we are looking good. All right, so here we go. The Empoweru Bootcamp for Success was developed because I had an awesome list of clients who, as we were wrapping up the year, we wanted to do a reset. Yesterday, I talked to you more about who I am and where I came from and how I created Therapeutic Empowerment, which is the coaching arm of the Empowerment Empire, and how I got started. It was in 2018, right before the pandemic, and it just was a wonderful opportunity to utilize my 20 plus years of corporate business experience, of enterprise IT solutions implementation on a global scale, and in my experience in higher education, and always providing education and training to phenomenal women looking to really up-level their lives, create businesses, improve their professional standing, improve on your professional development skills, improve on your interpersonal skills. It has been a passion of mine to really help lead women down a road to become better speakers, better writers, to simply improve upon yourself as the person that you are and the person that you want to become. And so through my own personal experiences, through my professional experience and skills, and through my educational experience, I got to the point in my career where I decided it was time for me to develop my own business. And thanks to my awesome business attorney, Viviana Oropeza, shout out to this phenomenal woman who is the attorney in heels, part of the amazing world of the Empowerment Empire. She came to me, and as I was getting my business set up as an LLC, she was like, you're creating this empowerment empire. And that's how we settled on the name. So thanks to Viviana Orpez, I don't know if she remembers this, but thanks to her, all of the work that we're doing here in this organization became the Empowerment Empire through bootcamp programs, through our monthly International Women in Business Mastermind, through Not Without My Coffee, the empowering journal prompts for women, through the online courses and the impromptu coaching sessions on Fabulously Free Coaching Friday that we've added, and now to, of course, to the new YouTube channel for the Empowerment Empire. The organization continues to grow and continues to develop. And my one-to-one clients have always really been able to benefit from a big review at the very end of the year. And I thought if my one-to-one clients can truly benefit from this opportunity, I would love to share it with you. Now, normally the Empoweru Bootcamp for Success is sold at $1,500 for the entire program, where you receive all of the workbooks and you watch videos, and it's at your own pace. And then, of course, included is your 30-minute one-to-one coaching session with me for the first 20 people that sign up, because I don't have endless space in my calendar for everyone's free one-to-one coaching sessions. But I'm really honored, and I'm very, very excited to be able to provide this to you as my gift for the end of 2023, and just to say thank you so much for all of the support that you have shown the Empowerment Empire, for me, and all of the work that I'm trying to provide and put out there for women, entrepreneurs, business owners, women wanting to develop and improve upon their professional skills. To all of the phenomenal women veterans that I work with. As a woman veteran myself, it is very, very important to me that I provide services and offer services to women veterans. So if you are a woman veteran, or if you know of a woman veteran who is looking into getting some coaching and training on how to become a better business professional, or how to create and start a business, we provide discounted coaching services for women veterans. So please make sure to share that news and have them reach out to me through Facebook or through the website womensempowermentcoach.us. So let's get started with day 2. And to shorten up the title of day 2 for the cover of the workbook, I simply put create your lists. But let's move forward a bit, and we will talk about the full 5-day schedule. And the full title for the day 2 program is Goal Creation and Calendaring for Success by Creating Your Lists. And today's where the work really is going to be beginning. Yesterday, I spoke upon the fact that this is a boot camp, so I will go quickly, which is why when you download your workbook, have it printed out, put it in your 3-ring binder, stay organized, and rewatch the videos, so that as I'm going through each section of each workbook, which range from 20 to 30 pages, you will have an opportunity to hit pause, to write out your responses to the questions and the journal prompts and the writing challenges that I provide to you. And then you can hit play again and continue on down the course, because during this live program, I would love to answer all of your questions, but we simply wouldn't have the time. So post your questions. We are here live in our Women Entrepreneur, or the Empowered Woman by the Empowerment Empire Facebook group. You are my exclusive group that is going to be receiving this free program. So thank you so much for joining us. We are a small but mighty group. We are currently at almost 700 members in this phenomenal group. And I just want to thank you for your support and your continued, utilization of all the programs that the Empowerment Empire provides to you. So let's get back to the Empoweru Bootcamp for Success. Day 2, Goal Creation and Calendaring for Success by Creating Your Lists. Let the work begin. Let's step into our power. The extensive accompanying workbook walks you through listing out activities to set your goals, establishing the levels of importance for each step to take within each goal, setting appropriate deadlines and action steps to create your final to-be list. We create lots of to-do lists on a pretty consistent basis. So what if we chose to create a to-be list? I want to be this type of business professional, this type of mom, this type of person, this type of entrepreneur, this type of business owner. That is what we're really focusing on today. Okay, so we shortened it up by calling it day 2, create your lists. So now, our focus, goal creation and calendaring for success. Why are successful people successful? Let's start with that question and think about that. Why do you think Successful people are successful. It is not all about luck. I think it is more so about intentional living. Along with drive and with patience, the most successful people also have discipline. When you look at successful people, it's because they have relentlessly pursued their dreams and they never gave up. One of our big mantras in the Empowerment Empire is never forget your dreams. Never let go of what it is that you want to accomplish. No one will fight for your dreams harder than you will. So be that advocate, be that leader of your own accomplishments so that you can be the successful person in the mirror that you want to see every day. Once individuals are motivated to accomplish something, once these successful people are motivated to accomplish something, they work hard to achieve it and are consistent in their efforts. Once one goal is accomplished, another one is determined, and the cycle of forward moving progress continues. It is a continuous cycle of intentional goal creation, exploration, development, and accomplishment. It's not something that is a one and done. It's something that is a journey. The goal to, or the path to achieving our goals and to accomplishing our dreams is not a start and stop. It is a full journey, a full experience of life that is to be treasured and embraced and embodied and lived. It's not just something that happens one day. It is something that is worked for. And even though through trials and tribulations of life, there will be plenty of letdowns and setbacks, but one of the most important things that you can do for yourself is to get back up. And it's the way in which you get back up and continue to relentlessly pursue your goals and your dreams. That is how you become the successful person in the mirror that you want to see every day. Successful people are leaders. If not in an official capacity, they lead their own lives in a forward-focused, intentional, and often strategic manner. This can also be you. This can be you through day-to-day exercises, through intentional living with grace and focus and positive intention to be the best person you truly can be. So think of this. Through the day 2 exercises, you should end up with a clear view of what you need to be consistently doing, gathering, thinking, and planning. Some of the questions will seem redundant because they are intended to keep assisting you with diving deep into answering the questions that you need answers to so that you can focus on what your next steps should be. Continue to answer the questions and continue to write down your thoughts, your responses, and any further questions that come up for you. Consistent exploration of the self is what will keep you creatively moving forward in your life, in your professional experience, and in your journey to continue your lifelong happiness. So this is where we're going to begin creating your lists. And here's some insights to consider as we move forward. In the following pages, you're going to be having the opportunity to create your lists while also ranking their importance, the tools you will need to work towards completing your tasks, to setting a deadline for each one, and to then create your final to-be list so that you can move forward with the program, move forward with accomplishing your goals, and ultimately getting to that life of success. That plan to get you there is what we will be developing throughout the course of this 5-day program of Empoweru, the Bootcamp for Success. The following explains the further elements that you will be exploring as we move forward. The first section will be the item. So in the next pages, you will list out the activities and the goals as an item that you want to accomplish. So you want to take a trip and go on a travel. You want to improve on your interpersonal skills. You want to improve as a speaker. Those are your items that will be in the following list. The second thing is your rank. You will rank your items by giving each of them a level of importance. Number 1 being the most important, using the following scale. Number 1 is it's very important that you accomplish this goal. 2, it's somewhat important. 3, it is important. 4, it's neutral. You're neutral about when it needs to get done, but it does need to get done. And then number 5, the rank would be you want to list it, but you're not sure of its importance. And then the needs. the needs part of your list, is where you're going to list out what you need to make it happen. Do you need a tool? Do you need a skill? What do you need? And then 5, your final to-be list will be based on the rankings of each item, and you will write them down in order of rank and importance to you. And then number 6, in the day 3 program, tomorrow's program, we'll be diving even deeper. I'm going to go much slower today than I did yesterday because there is a lot of information that we are providing to you in the boot camp. Like I said before, we are providing a boot camp here, so it does go fast and there is a lot of information. So make sure that you have gone to the website, you have downloaded your PDF workbook, and that you are rewatching this live program so that you're able to press pause, write in your workbook as we continue forward, and then press play again so that you can then move on to each section. But I love doing this part live, especially since we're offering it for free to you. We're live streaming in our Empowered Woman of the Empowerment Empire Facebook group. I want to really walk you through each section. So here's the first ranking or the first list page, your first page on the to-be list. And there are several, as you will see. So your instructions, like I just explained, item, rank, needs, deadline. The item element, write the activity you want to be doing or the goal you want to accomplish. And if you have your book printed out, do this now. If you don't have your book printed out, grab a piece of paper, open up a Google Doc on your other screen, and write this out. Write the activity that you want to be doing or the goal that you want to accomplish. Assign a 1 to 5 level of importance to this item. What do you need to know to accomplish this? And if you're not sure, simply write down that you're not sure. And your deadline. Set a realistic deadline so that you can stick to it. Yesterday, we talked about how if you're not aiming for something, you're never going to accomplish it. You won't reach it unless you aim for it. If we're aiming for the bullseye, we will eventually hit that bullseye through practice and perseverance and skills development. But if we don't even have a bullseye identified, we could be shooting all over the map and we will never reach our goals. So that is why we intentionally call them out. We write them down, we break them apart and decide what it is that we need to accomplish each of these goals. Who do we need support from to get through the process of developing a path to accomplishing our goals? What it is that we need? What do we need to get us from A to Z? Let us continue. So after you have written on, I think it's 4 pages of the to-be list, so you get 3, 6, 9, I think you have 11. We come to our final to-be list page. Ranking your items in order of importance to you, rewrite the page and the first 11 that you have selected to improve upon your daily living. If you are building on your professional skills development, write that one down. If you are wanting to attend an in-person workshop, write that down. This is your top 10 list of final to-bes. This is what you want to be doing in the next 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. These are your top 11 items of importance to you that you want to accomplish this year. That's going to make you more efficient, more intentional, more relaxed, more focused, better developed as a business professional, maybe more calm as a mom because you're putting down monthly massages. You want to be someone who provides yourself with self-care. There is a plethora of items that you can be putting on your final to-be list. And this Empoweru Bootcamp is a quick view into the way in which that I work with my clients on diving deep into who they are and who they want to be and how to get there. Next, thinking about all of the things that we have talked about over yesterday's program and through today's, if you do nothing, nothing changes. So If you change a little, then everything can change. So think about that and write out the things that you want to accomplish in this year. No matter how small or how big, if you don't call it out, you will not be accomplishing the things that you desire. If you don't write it down, if you don't call it out into the world, if you don't tell your family, if you don't tell your partner, if you don't tell your colleagues that you are wanting to accomplish these specific things, nobody will know and they won't be able to support you in the process. And it won't be on the forefront of your mind either that you have these goals to accomplish for yourself, that you have these steps that you need to take to get, from writing the goal down to checking off the steps required to accomplish that goal. So I love to put journal pages in all of the workbooks that I create. So in the journal space below, write your overarching thoughts on this brief experience and feel free to share them with me via email. Send me an email to vihil@women'sempowermentcoach.us. I'm really interested in learning about what what your experiences are from this venture, this Empoweru Bootcamp for Success, because it goes quite quickly. And I ask you to do things that are very specific, and it should be something that does not cause much confusion, but is giving you 50 minutes over the course of 5 days every day to focus on yourself. Over the past couple of weeks, we have probably really focused on everyone else because it's been the holiday season. We've been gift gathering, we've been cooking and preparing meals for our families. We've been really focusing on showing everyone else how much we love and care about them. And it's time for you to do something for yourself. That is why you are here listening to the Empoweru program. That is why you're going to go to the website and download the workbooks that are all for free, normally a $1,500 investment, so that you can give yourself an opportunity to write down what it is that you want to be accomplishing for yourself over the next 30 days, 6 months, 12 months. The deadline, the timeline is yours to decide. The steps to help you get there are the preliminary process of getting you focused on success and start building your framework on how to get there. So I want to talk a little bit more about gifts that I'm giving to you throughout this course. There is a monthly goal planner that I have developed that you can download for free. If you go to women'sempowermentcoach.us/2023, actually, I think it's now at 2024. I need to correct this slide. But if you go to women'sempowermentcoach.us, you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and you can click on the free 2024 monthly goal planner. This will help you break down goals that you want to accomplish into each month. There's 2 months on a page. It's beautifully colored and very femininely designed, as I love. And it will be something that can help you continue to plan out what it is that you need to accomplish your goals, to make your next moves, to set up your next set of events that you want to be attending. So many things that you can utilize the monthly goal planner for. And it's my gift to you as well as this 5-day Empoweru Bootcamp for Success. Here's just a little bit about old me. I have 20 years of experience in business, finance, executive development, mentoring, and coaching from the Sacramento Valley to the San Francisco Bay Area to Southern California and globally now online. My specialized line of work focuses on the personal empowerment, professional life coaching, and business coaching of women, ranging from new graduates of college to mid-career professionals, business executives, and women veterans to survivors of assault, anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder, something we have all most likely experienced. As a trauma-informed professional who has also experienced trauma in various forms myself, I know what it's like to be coaching and needing to pause because it might be too much, because you might be triggered by something along the way. And that's why I like to explain to many women that through trauma-informed coaching here at Therapeutic Empowerment by the Empowerment Empire, we meet you where you're at, grab onto your hand, and help you to continue to move forward. It is a very personal experience. That's why I always say that if I'm not the coach for you, then you should definitely keep searching for coaches that do fit your personality, your needs, that fit where you are in your own life. I think it's important that you're connecting with a business coach or a personal coach or a life coach that is going to help get you to the next level, but can also understand where you are today. So I bring my plethora of experience in health, wellness, and business to uplift my clients through educational workshops, through online and live uplifting group and one-to-one goal planning sessions, to one-to-one coaching programs and more by way of therapeutic empowerment. My coaching-based therapeutic practice has been focused on working with women to unleash their true potential. And the way that we do that is we recognize the past, that it may not have been all, wine and roses. It may not have been all beautiful sunshine and butterflies, and it may have been a little bit of hell. And acknowledging that and recognizing how far we have come to the place that we currently are, so that we can now learn to successfully manage our current lives, how to manage our current day-to-day, from managing our families to managing our self-care, to managing our professional businesses, our entrepreneurial pursuits. Perhaps you're also working at a full-time job in addition to all of these things. So I like to work with helping women to maintain that balance, that personal balance that keeps you moving forward with grace and with intention, and that makes you happy, so that you're not trying to continue to build a life through massive amounts of overwhelm, because that's not what it should be about. It should be about really embracing all of the things that you love to do and finding a way to do them in a way that is balanced and brings you joy and brings you happiness. And then, of course, the final stage of my coaching programs is planning for the future. Now that we are able to manage our current lives, we are working through past experiences. We are able to then really plan for our future and really plan for what it is that we want to accomplish next, what we want to achieve next, who we want to continue striving to be in our everyday lives. So I am a true native Californian. I love California, from the Humboldt County redwood forest to the south of the beautiful beaches of San Diego, to San Francisco Bay. I love California in all of its way, shape, and form. And I miss lots of friends and family and colleagues that are back in California. However, I work and operate on a global scale. So currently living in the mountains of Idaho, I'm planning on traveling to the East Coast later on this year, early next year, or actually next year, because we're already at the end of 2023. But I feel like my experience traveling the globe with the United States Navy, through living in such a diverse area as California, through moving all around and working all around, it has given me a great view into different types of lifestyle, different types of leadership skills, different ways of going about living a happy life that I share with my clients, and that I hope that you are able to experience through this very brief Empoweru Bootcamp for Success over the course of the next 5 days. And so we will continue on with parts of the workbook. And I always like to remind you to let's stay connected. Our mantra here at the Empowerment Empire is, through collective collaboration, we all rise. Therapeutic empowerment was developed because through my own therapeutic journey is where I found my own power again. And through your journey is where you will find your power, and where you will find the next stage to the life that you want to lead, to the next level of happiness that you know you are destined to receive. A little bit more on the coaching work that I do, and then how to connect. Always go to women'sempowermentcoach.us. There is so much information there that you can peruse, lots of free downloads. Also, of course, the Library of Empowerment, where you can buy our anthologies, more of our workbooks, and you can also sign up for several of the online course programs. So I am going to stop sharing the screen. There we go. Stop sharing the screen now. And let's talk a little bit more about the goals that you want to be identifying here through the course of the Empoweru Bootcamp for Success. So these are elements that you're really going to want to be considering as goals that you have wanted to be accomplishing or that you had wanted to accomplish previously, but you've never quite gotten around to do it. Or the goal will take a back seat to life, which is so common and happens so very often, that if you are not intentionally driving yourself on a consistent basis down this path, you will get sidetracked. You will go along off on another path. You will start working on someone else's dream while your dreams fall by the wayside. So how do we continue to bring ourselves back to center so that we can get back on our own path, get back on our own map to our final destination? And that is through consistent daily intentions. Every Sunday evening, and actually I was doing it last night again as well, is I sit with my goal journal, which you can utilize this Empoweru workbook for success all 5 days. Once you complete the course, if you are booking your one-to-one appointments with me, if you are posting your thoughts and comments on each of the workbook sections, then at the very end, you receive a brand new bound complete book of all of the sections of the Empoweru Bootcamp for Success, which is something that I always do for those that sign up for the course, typically at the $1,500 price, so that you can work through your goals. So your downloaded PDF with all of your notes and scribbles and ideas that you're writing down on it can then be rewritten in this nicely bound book that you can consistently utilize to continue to keep yourself moving forward. So as I was saying, typically on Sunday evenings, and again, as I did last night, I will sit with myself and my calendars and my goal journal and make sure that there is something on my everyday list that is going to take me one step further to accomplishing a particular goal that I'm working on at the time. I'd like to remind my clients that, remember, one small step every single day will get you that much closer to accomplishing your dreams, to accomplishing your goals, to taking that next step, to acquiring that next level of education. I am a huge advocate of higher education and continued education. And you're not going to receive a master's degree overnight, nor are you going to find that level of self-improvement overnight. It is a process. It is a journey. It is a lifestyle. We will be talking later in the program about habit stacking. I just worked through with one of my amazing clients on habit stacking and how we can improve our lives by just adding one little element to something that we already regularly do. For example, every morning I get up and I make my matcha green tea latte before I get in the shower. So if I do that every day, what little thing can I tack onto the end to stack on top of that regular habit that will improve my life? And for me, it is a quick yoga session. So before I turn on the shower, before I do anything else, as I am waiting for my milk to steam, I am doing a quick yoga session right there in the kitchen area because it allows me to do something good for myself. It allows me to stretch my body, to open up my lungs, to stretch out my arms, to stretch my back, to get the blood flowing and circulating after I just had a night's sleep. Well, I would be standing there anyways, waiting for my milk to steam so I can make myself my awesome matcha green tea latte in the morning. So if I'm stacking a quick yoga session on top of making my latte every morning, that is something I can easily do. That is habit stacking. And if I intentionally remind myself to do it, I could put a little sticky note next to my milk steamer. I could put a little sticky note in the bathroom on the mirror to remind myself, oh, did you do your quick yoga session while your milk was steaming? A quick reminder, easily adding on this positive habit onto something that I do every day already anyways, is what we call habit stacking. Now, if we can do something like that for something as simple as incorporating a stretching yoga session while I wait for my milk to steam, what else can I utilize habit stacking for? I can do that with reaching out to clients. If once I get to the office and I get everything situated and the temperature is up to speed and the computers are all working and my monitors are all set up, then what else can I do to improve my business, to improve my client connection? Well, I put my little sticky notes or I put reminders on my phone. I add, a reminder onto my iCal to say, hey, by the way, you have 10 minutes. You are habit stacking a call to all of your clients, to all your potential clients to check in, to see who has completed the next program, to see where people are at, what they might need to move forward, to do something that is going to improve the life of my business. And that is what I mean by habit stacking, something that we will be talking about in the future program. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Let's get back to, let's get back to the calendar because I want to talk a little bit more. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay, and then let's open this up to present. Let's move this out of our way. Okay. Let me make sure that we are presenting properly. There we are. So yesterday in our Empoweru Bootcamp for Success, it was all about personal mindset work. It was all about how do you build yourself up? Who are you? Who is the badass woman that you are? And we wrote down all of these amazing qualities of yourself. And I told you to dig deep and brag to your heart's desire and don't feel judged about it and don't feel held back by anything because this is your own journal. No one else has to read what you write but you. So yesterday it was all about helping you to stand in your power as the phenomenal person that you are. Today, we talked about goal creation and calendaring for success by creating your list. Your lists, I will move forward so we can look at them again. There we go. There's the mouse. The to-be list. Number one is the item. What do you want to be doing, or what is the goal that you want to accomplish? Number two is the rank. Assign a level of 1 to 5 importance, 5 or 1 being the most important, and think of the top 11 things that you want to be doing in your life, or the top 11 goals that you want to be accomplishing, because that will come into play later, as you saw earlier in the workbook. Then your needs. What do you think you may need to accomplish this item? Is the item to travel to Spain? Well, then you're going to need to purchase airline tickets, a hotel, a ride to the airport. You're going to need to pack like your needs. You're going to open up a coffee shop. What do you need to have besides all of the business elements? You need to do your market research. So market research is huge. You need to find a location. You need to source the needs of the community. It can be something so small and something so huge. And what puts it on your list is its importance to you, because this is yours. And no matter how small or no matter how large that you're thinking, this is for you. So I always say, put down the smallest minute things that you want to be accomplishing to the sky is the limit items that you want to be accomplishing. Because if you're not calling them out, who's going to call them out for you, right? Okay. And then the deadline. Give yourself a window that you would like to accomplish this item, whether it's, next week, in the next 24 hours, whether it's in 6 months, maybe you want to buy a house in a year. Put these things on your list. You want to be a homeowner, so put that item on your list. This is your opportunity to really look at all of the things that you want to be, the things that you want to do, and you have to aim for them. Then, of course, through all the previous lists that you've created, we bring them all together into the final top 11. Then I want you to write out notes. This is absolutely brief. There's not a lot to the final to-be list. It's simply writing out the item. Because tomorrow, let's get back to our schedule. Tomorrow, we are going to be talking more about the action plan and the resource planning and the skills development to accomplishing your goals, to accomplishing the tasks that you have defined that you want to accomplish, to accomplishing the person you want to be. Tomorrow is when we're going to be digging even deeper into building these action plans, considering the resources that you're going to be needing, and talking about the skills development that you might need to be building to become that next level person that you are striving to be. It is morning-ish, so we are still drinking coffee. So today was all about goal creation and calendaring for success by creating your lists. The extensive accompanying workbook walks you through listing out the activities to set your goals, establishing the levels of importance for each step, setting appropriate deadlines, and action steps to create that final to-be list. Don't overthink it. It has been simplified for you so that you're not feeling overwhelmed in all of the work that we have sort of peeled apart the layers of, so that you have an opportunity to really just look at the items as individuals and not as something that is a huge, massive undertaking. Then tomorrow, in building your action plans, resource planning, and skills development, we are going to deep dive into your needed resources, what skills you might need to be working on, and how to get all that you need to keep moving forward. It is the one thing to create a great plan to accomplish your goals and dreams, and it is quite another to start taking action in the implementation of your plans. Now, I know this was a lot in a short period of time, and that is the intention of a boot camp. So I want you to sit with the workbooks, go back to women'sempowermentcoach.us. If you have, like I have encouraged everyone to do, if you have signed up, let me stop the share here. There we go. So if you have signed up for, let's get that out of the way. If you have signed up for the Empoweru program through the Eventbrite link, you will get access to the online event page. And with the online event page, you will have access to a special website that is designed to give you all of the individual workbooks and the individual recordings for each day of the Empoweru Bootcamp for Success, that you'll be able to rewatch as you download your workbook and work through each section, creating your elements, creating your items, your goals, your personal to-be list, and you'll be able to take your time. So I encourage you for day one and now for day two to download the workbook pages, print them out, put them in a 3-ring binder, keep yourself organized and focused on the future of accomplishing these small steps that are going to lead you to great big changes in your life. Give yourself the grace of time and the opportunity to really relish in the experience of defining your goals and then teasing them apart, so you know what are the elements that you need to be considering as you're working to accomplish each individual goal that you are setting for yourself, or each next level that you were defining for yourself that you want to be embodying as you move through the end of this year, through the new year of 2024, and what you want the whole of next year to look like. This brief Empower You Bootcamp for Success is designed to get you thinking about these things. What is it in your past that you need to still work through? How are you successfully managing your today? What do you want to be defining and striving for in your future? Do you have a plan to get yourself there? And what are you doing for your own personal sense of self-care along the whole journey? Remember that working on yourself and working on your goals and your personal and your professional development, building a business, scaling a business, being an entrepreneur with many ventures, it is a journey to be relished and enjoyed. It is a process of growth and experience. And so if you really want to get yourself to that next level, you give yourself opportunities like the Empower You Bootcamp for Success does, where I'm asking you to look at your life, look at what you have been doing for yourself, look at what you want to be doing, what you want to be accomplishing. Perhaps this is the year that you write your book for yourself. Perhaps this is the year that you take that trip abroad. Perhaps this is the year that you add on another business to your portfolio. But if you don't start thinking about it ahead of time, then it will always just be something that you might want to do. You have to put it into action, call it out to the universe, tell your friends and your colleagues, tell your family and your partner that this is the journey that you are on. This is the life that you want to build for yourself, and you are starting today. You are starting today with defining your goals, with defining the bullseye and what you are aiming for. And this is the deadline in which that you are giving yourself to accomplish it, because that feels right. When you are defining deadlines for accomplishing your goals or building your sense of professional development or that next sense of self, it's on your timeline, not based on anybody else's, but it's what feels right to you. So I want to thank you so very much. We are now at our 50-minute time, and I want to thank you so much for taking this opportunity to consider the programs that I've provided to you through the Empowerment Empire. And I would love your feedback and your thoughts on this free program, Empower You Bootcamp for Success, by yours truly, Women's Empowerment Business and Professional Development Coach. I am Vihil Vigil. It is my great honor and pleasure to be providing this program to you free of charge, normally a $1,500 program, because I feel it is so important that the phenomenal women in my life know that someone is here to support you, and that I am definitely one of those individuals who think it is extremely important that we, as the mantra for the Empowerment Empire states, through collective collaboration, we all rise. And I felt truly called to provide this program to my circle because it is time for us. It is the end of the year. It is about to be the beginning of the next. It is an opportunity for us to look at what we are doing and what we want to be doing. What is the next level to who we want to be? And let's start planning for it. That is the whole, I would say, goal for this Empower You Bootcamp for Success is let's prepare you for your next level. Let's give you a couple of tools to get you thinking about what you want to be accomplishing next. And let's get you writing those things down and making action plans and creating time for self-care and meditation so that you are not only, business-wise prepared, but that you are mentally prepared, that you are emotionally prepared for the next level that you want to be at in your life and in your business and who you want to be as a person. If we don't intentionally take these opportunities to reflect and to plan and to grow, then we sort of find ourselves stuck in the same position. And for many of us, we don't like to be in that position. We like to be constantly growing and moving towards things that we love. So I hope that you have enjoyed this day 2 of the Empower You Bootcamp for Success with me, Vihil Vigil, your International Women's Empowerment Business and Professional Development Coach. I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow for day 3. Make sure that you are signed up for the Eventbrite program, gain access to the online event page, which will give you a bunch of free resources and the link to download your workbooks. And of course, for those of you that do sign up for the Eventbrite program or the Eventbrite registration, you receive the hardbound printed book of the Empower You Bootcamp for Success for you to utilize again in writing down all of your notes and all of your plans and your strategies as we move forward to accomplishing your goals. Tons of free stuff in this program that is my honor to give to you, because if we aren't here supporting one another, then what are we doing here, right? And as a women's empowerment coach, my goal is to utilize all of my experiences and to give them to you to help uplift my community, as I know so many of you also do. And I love that about our group. So through collective collaboration, we shall all rise. And I will see you tomorrow at day 3 for the Empower You Bootcamp for Success, provided to you free here within our phenomenal group. So let's see. Thank you again so much.